This is SoulCharge, the podcast for women leaders to take the highest level of ownership of their power to create results now. I'm your host, Stacy B. Let's dive in. Welcome back to SoulCharge. We are doing a wanting what you want and how you can get anything you want 4-part series. In this first episode, we are going to dive into wanting what you want. And so wanting what you want is such an interesting topic because many of you do not allow yourselves to actually give yourself the permission to want what it is that you want. And that's problematic because you cannot be supported, you cannot be blessed, you cannot be fully expressed if you are not allowing yourself first and foremost to want what it is that you want. Many times in my life, in fact, I could go on story after story. My entire life has been a record of this truth, which is that I have always wanted what I wanted and allowed that desire. Even when the people around me looked at me like I was crazy, or even if I couldn't necessarily see the path forward. And for you, you may be wanting what you want, but if you're totally honest, you are not giving yourself full permission to go all in on what you want. And so it might be because you are in an environment that doesn't necessarily support that. It might be you're already spread too thin. It may be that you feel burdened by all of the responsibilities that you have. But here is the thing that is so true, is that when you actually allow yourself to want what it is that you want and design your life around that, things actually become simpler. Things actually become simpler because it's a more clear and direct path to what it is that you want. And you're not living each day in this internally compromised state. Because if you want something, but you're not allowing yourself to go for it completely, relentlessly, and passionately, what happens is that you are literally only halfway turned on. You are literally moving through life lukewarm, and you are not meant to be lukewarm. You are hot. You are passionate. You have a purpose, and going after what it is that you want is not just about you. It's what you show your kids. It's what you open up for your employees. It's what you literally bless your clientele with when you go for what you actually want. And so let's break down what I mean a little bit more deeply on what it is that you want. And I can feel you as you listen to this, you already know where I'm going. You already know, and I'm going to call you out right now, that there is a part of you that wants something in your life and you're not allowing yourself to go for it. You're postponing, you're delaying, you're saying next year. You're saying when I do this, then I'll do that. When I finish this, then I'll do that. And the ultimate invitation for you is to actually ask yourself, what is it that I actually want? You know, for me, when I was looking at the horizon, right, of where I want to grow SoulCharge and like what I'm doing all of this for, obviously this is a movement. This is much bigger than me. This is way beyond me. And growing this company to 100 million has always been the divine download. Because of what happens at that mark, because of who we become at that place. But along the path, we are taught that you have peaks and milestones that you hit along the way, right? Get to 1 million, get to 5 million, 10 million, and beyond on your path to 100 million. But the truth of the matter is, for me, those were just a way that I wasn't allowing myself to want what I actually wanted, which is the 100 million, and build everything from that destination, in reverse engineer it. And so that's an example of what I'm talking about. You may be chasing a business goal right now that isn't actually what you want. It's simply the next realistic destination after the growth you had last year. And I really want you to look that in the face and ask yourself, is that what I really want? Or is that what I've been told is the next step on the train tracks? It's the next logical step on this path to growth. Because the truth of the matter is when you connect to what it is that you want, the world reorganizes for your benefit through introductions to people, opportunities you could not have crafted, opportunities to scale your business, opportunities to become the ultimate version of you. And it all stems with you being totally honest with yourself about who you are and what you want. We have been taught, especially as women, that we almost have to be apologetic in what we want, right? If we're too direct and too convicted on what it is that we want, it could come across wrong. We don't want to do that, right? But the truth is that every time you don't fully live self-expressed, you literally are self-compromising for no one's benefit. There is no one that benefits by you staying small. There is no one that benefits by you not shining your light. Zero. It's actually the opposite. Everyone benefits when you are fully alive, fully turned on, fully creative, fully going for what it is that you want. And so my intention with you listening to this podcast is to normalize getting everything that you want, because that's where we can get really into the magic, the creation magic. And to be honest, that is SoulCharge. When you are clear on what you want and you are lit up by that, that's when we can bring in the practical alignment in your action and in your bold action, and we can bring in the magic of physics into business. And you must, though, be clear on what it is that you want and allow that. And so one of the biggest indications that you are not allowing yourself to want what you want is how lit up you feel working towards what it is that you're working towards. There is a different feeling and connection that comes with allowing yourself to want what you want and working towards that every day, right? Wanting what you want and then reverse engineering it backwards. And then that's what you're doing every day, right? That's what you're working towards every day. The energy when you land on what it is that you really want, it feels expansive yet grounded. It can feel that it's impossible. It's this impossible goal. But at the same time, it's almost like a part of you is already there. And when you are tuned into the truth of what it is that you want, and by the way, I know I'm talking about business, right? And how this relates to business. You can take this into your relationships, any area of your life. You are meant to be ignited. And there are parts of your life that are not right now. And we can bring that all back to you are settling for something less than what you want. You were made to go for what you want because it's not just about you. Think about if you sat on the couch and didn't make anything of your life. In that example, you're isolated, you're not connected with others, and you're probably not thinking super empowering thoughts, to keep it simple. On the contrary, if you are out building the business or you're working in a role that lights you up and you're going to work every day passionate, you are connecting with others, you are showing others what's possible, and you are literally blessing the world with your energy that is based in alignment and truth. If you look at these two examples, you can very quickly see, we were made to connect and create. We are the hands and feet of the divine in this world. And we need to take that really seriously. And it comes back to allowing ourselves to have everything that we want. And so, like for me, I am a big picture visionary, right? I want and have always wanted a massive life on my terms. There are many things, I'm going to get into this on the next episode when we drop into action, but there's a lot of things that are out of my lane in my life that get in the way of wanting what I want because we only have so much bandwidth, right? We only have so much focus and energy. And so there have been many conscious decisions that I have made to ensure that I am equipped, empowered, and energized to go for what I want, and I'm not distracted by the minutia on the way there. And I'm going to get into that in a later episode. But for me, in the pursuit of these big goals that I have, this big life that I have, I am fully committed to allowing myself to want what I want, even if it makes no sense to anyone else, even if it literally defies gravity. That's what I'm on this planet to do. I am on this planet to show others how to get what they want in whatever timeline matters to them. There are no limits except the ones that you put on yourself. And it boils down to what you desire. And so in this series, I want to keep it short and sweet because this, if you can get this, is so powerful. And it literally is the step-by-step blueprint of how to create what you want. You have to start first with being honest and calling yourself out that you've been playing small or you haven't really gone for what you want because you can't see the path to get there. I would say that is the most common thing that I see is we do not go for what we want in life because we can't see how to get there. And so we settle on the thing that we can map out to arrive. In other words, we settle on what we want being based on a path that we can see. This version of us is required to trust, but only so much. If we can see the how, we in some way stay in some level of perceived control, and it is still limiting. Your job is not to see the how. It is not to know the how. That is God's job. Your job is to know the what and to be so committed to that in the unseen and to walk in faith. But you must know what you want and not compromise on that. It's so easy, especially based on the environments we're in, to want what we want, but then get around people that don't see the same vision or don't see what we see. And that then can cause us to shrink. And so that's another, very important thing is ensuring that you are in rooms and around people that think bigger than you, but also that are doing what you want to do. But you know what you want. Stop pretending that you don't. Stop pretending that the reason you're not going for it is because you don't know the way. It's just an excuse. When you decide on what it is that you want, the amazing support and resources that can show up literally will blow your mind. It is your duty, your responsibility to know what you want and be so ruthlessly committed to getting it that nothing will stand in your way. That is what I want you to take away from this episode is what is it that you really want? When you don't know the path, when you don't know how you would get there, what is it that you really want? That revenue target that you're currently going after, is it because that's the next natural step? What is it that you really want? What is that crazy outcome that you dream about that you say someday, I want you to land on that today. Because if you bring that into today with the following episodes that I'm going to provide to you, it's going to allow you to step into this in a very practical and energetic way. But you have to land on what you want first. I was working with a client recently, and they were talking about having $30,000 months. And after the first couple of conversations with them, they came back to me and they said, to be honest, I really have wanted to build a $2 million business annually. And I was like, well, that's quite a jump from where we were at. That's awesome, right? That's exactly what we're looking for. But the person that they have to show up as, what they have to do every day to realize that $2 million business is a different version of them than if they are fine collecting $30K a month, right? And by the way, none of this is about money. None of this is about revenue. It's who you become, the expansion and the truth of who you are that is embodied at these levels. That is what I care about. That is SoulCharge. If your soul is charged, that means that you are in your truth. If your soul is charged, that means you are living a life of alignment, connected to what you want, and fearlessly working towards that every day. If you are connected in your truth as your soul is charged, you have a potent presence that impacts people before you even get into the room. Before you enter a room, your presence enters before you and it impacts lives. That is what this is about. Who you be when you are aligned and connected to what you want is joyful, is passionate, is aligned. There is an energy that blesses the communities and the worlds that you are a part of when you move that way. So from this day forward, my invitation to you is do not wait another day. Do not live another day not connected to what it is that you want. Connect to this and let it be your anchor so that you can build the world that only you can build, that you have been divinely created to build, so that the world can be blessed with your ignition, your possibility, and your inspiration. Are you loving SoulCharge? If so, hit the subscribe button, leave a review, and share an episode. We want to bring powerful content to women leaders each week so that women can be unleashed to create the results that they want now. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.